there was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
How about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay?
Paying taxes, they themselves would employ the same evasive measures. And that's the catch. None of us likes to pay taxes. I mean, think about it. If 30% of your money is taken from you through taxation, you are literally working over 3.5 months for free. This video explores a possible remedy. This is not a part of the anti-tax or tax protest movement. I've found through a lot of personal research that people who have followed the actions and advice of tax protesters, who just quit paying taxes altogether, fall prey to IRS audits and end up in drawn-out legal battles, which basically ends up robbing not only their money in litigation fees and penalties, but some end up losing everything, including their freedoms, because they end up in prison. And isn't that ironic? If you go to jail for not paying taxes, you're actually living off of taxes as a result of not paying taxes. It's utter insanity. Sending someone to jail for not paying taxes is like giving somebody the death penalty for attempting suicide. I do not claim to be a tax expert, and I'm not interested in experimenting with your future. This video is for information purposes only.
Doesn't the IRS code have to be in compliance with the Supreme Court? That's my big
Aaron,
question.
this is a waste of time.
Well, let me
Because whatever I say, you're not going to believe.
He's right. I don't believe him. And neither should you. He wants us to believe we should obey the IRS code, which is being enforced in violation of the many Supreme Court decisions.
If the Supreme Court made a decision...
Thank you, Aaron. I think we're finished.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cohen, you're doing that.
Well, I'm sorry that you constantly re-argue the point. You're liable because the law says that you're liable, and the courts say the law says you're liable, and that's why you're liable.
You see, he's talking about the lower courts, who are not in compliance with the Supreme Court, as they have to be.
Doesn't the court have to be in compliance with the Supreme Court?
The Supreme Court has so held.
Where?
You caught me unprepared.
I'll come back.
Well, I don't want to do that.
But let me ask you a hypothetical question.
No. You're making silly arguments here.
Why is the Supreme Court decision a silly argument?
Well, because it's inapplicable.
That made my heart stop. He just said Supreme Court decisions do not apply to the IRS. That's the behavior you would expect from a totalitarian country, maybe China or Russia or Cuba. Not from America. They're just making up the law as they go along. Now I knew the tax honesty movement was right. The IRS thrives on intimidation and fear, not by law. It's no different than a criminal protection racket, using force to extract your money from you. Then the former IRS commissioner, now working at a prestigious Washington law firm, threatens me. Watch.
Aaron, you understand Yiddish. Gornisht helfen.
For those of you who don't understand Yiddish, that means nothing will help you. Now it all became clear. I understood why the IRS wouldn't go on camera and talk about where the law was. I understood why all the senators I called refused to be interviewed. There is no law. And now you know what our political leaders and the courts have known for decades and have tried to cover up. The United States Constitution strictly forbids a direct, unapportioned tax on the wages and salaries of American citizens. The United States Supreme Court has consistently ruled that the income tax is a tax on profits and gains, not on labor and wages. On behalf of the American people, I challenge the IRS to show me a statute that allows a direct, unapportioned tax on the wages and labor of the American people. And if I'm wrong, I will give my most humble apologies to the IRS. If the IRS is wrong, and there is no law, then every person who's been jailed should be let out of jail immediately, and any assets seized should be returned to their rightful owners. If this is a nation of laws and a free country, then the IRS should show the law to the American people.
This small booklet includes the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. This is a document that every citizen should read. It's a document which freed an entire nation. This is the Internal Revenue Code, and this document, and the unlawful application of this document by the Internal Revenue Service has enslaved the nation that this document attempted to free.
I am on a mission, and that mission is to slap people upside the head and wake them up and even make them hate me, if that's what it takes to get them to go examine what I'm telling them to find out that it's right. You see, I don't care how it's done, as long as they wake up. And if I have to be the bad guy that they're going to hate for the rest of their life, that's okay with me, if I wake them up.
And that those today who call themselves Christians do not even know the meaning of the word.
Practically all of these works are Gnostic, meaning they teach salvation through mystical knowledge. And one of these manuscripts contains the Gospel of Thomas. In Gnosticism, people are believed to be souls in material bodies. Only through true knowledge can they ascend. And according to this religion, Jesus is the Redeemer who came to communicate that knowledge and liberate man. He communicated this knowledge to selected disciples, one of them being Thomas. In almost all spiritual paths or traditions that are followed, eventually that which is discovered leads to this same ascension. And if these teachings had been placed in the modern Bible, the message may possibly have been clearer and more focused on the power that is held within each person. The Gospel according to Thomas doesn't tell a story. It's a compilation of approximately 114 sayings attributed to Jesus. The opening words of the document read, "These are the secret words which Jesus, the living one, spoke, and Didymus Judas Thomas wrote down. And he said, Whosoever finds the interpretation of these sayings shall never taste death. Let not him who seeks desist until he finds. When he finds, he will be troubled. When he is troubled, he will marvel, and he will reign over the universe." The sayings themselves are not the secret. The secret lies in their interpretation. When you find the true answers, it will trouble you because it goes against most of what you've been taught. And when the truth of it sets in, it will marvel you, and then you will know your power. The Gospel of Thomas has been eliminated from the Bible, and there are many explanations as to the reasoning. Some religious leaders express that if you read it and compare it to what you see in the New Testament, it's a very different kind of book, presenting a quite different Jesus. They claim that these particular teachings about Jesus mesh with certain philosophical principles that only grew in popularity, but that they aren't necessary to the work of the Bible.
The woman you are about to see has done more to protect your rights than probably anyone you will ever see or meet. She is going to explain how she has found ways and reason to never obtain a driver's license and never register an automobile with any government agency, and how to cancel those things after they have been done for the obvious purpose of exercising our right to travel without interference by the state. You may disagree with her positions. You may consider her to be radical in her activism, but you will not be able to challenge her facts and legal references, and you will not be able to prove her wrong. The vehicle regulations she discusses in this video are only one small part of the work she has done to defend and restore individual rights. Her energy, her intellect, and her devotion to justice are unmatched in my experience. When anyone works to defend their rights, they are defending all our rights. When anyone fails to defend their rights, they put all of our rights in jeopardy. In many cases, that puts our property and even our lives in jeopardy. In the following interview, we are all privileged to hear how Jackie Fig has battled for herself and for all of us in her lifelong campaign for freedom, rights, and justice.
Okay, so my name is Jackie Fig, and I've been traveling without a license since around 2003.
A driver's license.
A driver's license, yeah, let's emphasize a driver's license. I first read the vehicle code back in 2003 and realized that it really didn't apply to me, that it didn't include my property. And as such, I then sent out a series of letters to about 6 people, you know, the Department of Motor Vehicles, the Commissioner of the Highway Patrol, the Attorney General, and a few other people, the Department of Transportation, the Governor of the state. And I very, quickly started to discover that I was right, I was correct. I did get a letter back from the Attorney General. And
you were correct in what?
In my assumption that I did not, it did not apply to me.
You did not need a driver's
I did not need a driver's license, and that I did not need registration for the cars or automobiles that I was using. So having gathered that, I then set about to cancel those documents, and I did that back around 2004 after a series of letters went back and forth.
Cancel which documents?
Driver's license and, driver's license and registration.
Cancel them by mail. You're giving written notice?
I gave written notice. It was actually a complete series. I would say I contracted out of the system.
Okay.
And what we know now is that at least 45 books were either completely taken away or tremendously edited into what we call today our Western biblical tradition. And when those edits were made, we lost the information that tells us everything is connected. We lost the information that tells us the language that speaks to this field. We know the information was lost because we are now recovering the information in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in the Nag Hammadi Library, in the Coptic texts. This is how we know this information was lost.
If you want it all, you cannot be distracted by the illusion you've created. If you want it all, when the mind is silent, you can see clear enough to enjoy your life and forget about your desires. See clear enough, your desires are irrelevant.
What up, what up? Check this out, baby. Welcome to the Higher Truth channel. This is my 500 subscriber special, which makes me feel, happy. At the same time, I feel lame because there's channels that make over 500 subscribers just with one video, and at the same time, I kind of don't feel that bad because I know that like it's just me. Like, I don't have no family or anything supporting me. They're like they're at another level. Basically, they're supporting the Catholic Church better than me, and I'm not gonna be arguing with them about that. I just let them be. But so I kind of understand. At the same time, I'm happy too, because these people that might make 500 subscribers with one video, but they stop there. They don't have the creativity to keep going and bring new content to the table. And I do, even though it's not easy. I have it. Like, for example, I have so many stories of paranormal stuff that has happened to me, and that's basically why I started this channel, because since I was a baby, like, I've been having paranormal things happen to me, my first video that I even uploaded on this channel attests to what I'm saying. Like, I started this channel because I was filming this very bright star in the sky, and like you could see, like when I replayed that video, you could see like something transparent flying through really fast. But that's nothing. Like there's a lot of things that have happened to me, including my CERN video. Like I took a picture, like one of the last selfies I ever took, and there's like something behind me that looks like a wall, and that thing is not normal. It shouldn't have been there. But what I wanted to start with today is I wanted to tell you guys a story that happened when I was a baby. This started basically my paranormal stuff since I was a baby. That's how unique I am. That my family knows this, but it's like it's like I'm a weirdo to them. Like they can't understand me. They'd rather go support the Catholic Church than help me out when the police almost killed me and shit. Like they would be like the type to say, "Oh, it's your fault. Why did you run from them?" and stuff like that. Like when I could have even been a millionaire if they would have gave me a good lawyer that would have helped me out and went in there and got the facts right, I would have been a millionaire right now. But I'm just happy I have my freedom. That's how bad things got, to the point that just the fact that I have my freedom, like I was happy with that. That's how sad things are, But like I was saying, my first paranormal experience happened when I was a baby. And even when I almost got killed with cops, I think that has to do with this video that I saw of this guy that hacked into NASA. And he came up with a list that says non-terrestrial officers. And the way like these people almost killed me for running away from them, like it makes me feel like these things are not human. And I need to make a video and redo all this stuff that I've done, make it better, because I am learning how to make better videos. I'm getting better at editing, and I need to redo all this stuff because my older videos are crappy. Like a lot of people probably subscribe and they didn't hit the bell because the quality of my videos wasn't all that. That's what I see, because you could tell like people, like when you make a video, like you don't get the same response as other people, and it's normal, I understand, but I am getting better, so that makes people hit the bell. And also I don't like begging people to watch me. I just might say it once or twice, stop by, check out one of my videos, but I don't like begging them to hit the bell. Or even on my videos, you could tell that I don't like saying like subscribe and stuff. I just make my video and I know if they like it, they're gonna subscribe. Back to my story. I was a baby in my crib, around 3 or 4 months, around there. And I was asleep, and then my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, and my grandma were home, and they just heard like a big crash. They didn't know what it was in my room. Boom! And they just started hearing the dog barking really loud. Ruff, ruff, ruff. We had a dog that was like a pit bull terrier, and they started barking really loud. And the first ones there were my brothers and sisters. That's how they told me the story, that they walked into the room and looked inside to see what happened. And when they looked in my crib, they just seen like something was picking up. I had this cover for mosquitoes over my crib, and they saw like something picking up the mosquito thing like up in the air. And basically they were scared, And then my mom walked into the room. She witnessed it. They all witnessed it. They all saw that. And then basically when my grandma walked into the room, she witnessed it too. And that's when it stopped though. And the way they tell me the story, my mom basically kind of makes it seem like there's some kind of spirit wanted my soul. That's what my grandma would say. Like she kind of had an understanding that these things wanted my soul. But when that happened, my mom, she thought it was my dad at first, because when this happened, this was in Mexico. And at that moment, she thought something had happened to my dad, and that he was dead, basically. That's what went through her mind, that my dad was a ghost and he was trying to see me. But right after that, my mom got in communication with my dad, and she found out that he was okay. And that's just one of my many supernatural stories that, that's why what's crazy to me is that there's people that really believe that ghosts and all that are make-believe, they're fairy tales, folklore, and all that. That's what blows my mind, that people really believe this stuff is fake. And someone like me, I grew up knowing this stuff is real all my life. My mom even had a house that was haunted, so it was like common knowledge to me. People that would not believe this stuff, they'll go into that house and they'll be believers. That same, in 5 minutes, they'll be believers. So it blows my mind, And something that I've learned is real wisdom is knowing how much we don't know. That's real wisdom right there. Knowing the endless possibilities of time traveling and all that. And it's crazy, man. Like, I seen, when I was older, I went to this lady that tells the future. And now that I do research on all these kind of different things, I know that those people that tell the future basically communicate with demons. So that makes me understand that these people, demons, are able to travel through time and they communicate with these things. That's what I get from this stuff. And it's crazy. But basically the most amazing thing is that this lady, everything she told my sister came true. Everything. The only thing that hasn't came true is she said that I was going to be a priest. But I think she misinterpreted that. Because now that I'm doing my research and all this stuff, is basically, once you know the truth, you are set free and you become part of the Father. And if you're not seeking for the truth, you will never find. It's part of the lost gospels. I wanted to make a video on that too, that the Bible is contaminated and people are just afraid. Christians, they're afraid to say that. They're scared. They don't want people. They just want people to accept them, and they don't want to be the outcast. So they believe everything in the Bible, and that's ridiculous. Like, since a kid, I could see all the errors with everything. Like school, I knew school was a fucking scam. College is a scam. Like, I could see the scams everywhere. I could see the scams in the Bible. Like, there's so many different Bibles, and they all fucking say different things. Like, how are people really believe this stuff? Like even just translating something alone, you're gonna lose information. So, like, it's ridiculous to me that people really think this stuff, that that the Bible is like 100% all true. And even if it was like 100% true, I'm still freaking iffy because these people, these demonic beings, they know how to travel in time. They could plant things and stuff like that. So they don't think about that. Like it's funny because they know the devil's all powerful and he's the father of lies, but they limit his power. And what I also, it scares me that people really like to give all to really give all my authority to something that I can't understand. I can't do that. And I don't know how people are able to do that. And I think that's what's going to keep them in a cycle, a limbo. They're going to be in limbo for eternity. Because they can't trust themselves. They have to trust something else. You know, and I believe that there was a Christ. But that Christ, his word was contaminated. And it also says in the devil likes to give you the truth mixed with lies, and that's what the Bible is. The name alone, Bible. Think about it. Bible gives it away. But like it says right there, you know, that even the devil could parade as an angel of light. And that's how all y'all are gonna be tricked into limbo, a cycle. They put it all over your face. That snake eating its tail. Y'all are gonna be in that cycle of round and round and round, living and dying, living and dying. Because you guys give all your being to these higher entities, not knowing that they also could parade as an angel of light. They could parade as Christ. They could parade as a family member. But, you know, I can only do what I can for myself. Like, I'm not freaking the smartest in the world. But I could see these things that are very apparent to me. And it's just ridiculous that most people can't see this easy stuff, man. Easy, breezy stuff. Just translating alone, man. I don't know if I said this, but just translating scripture alone, like you're gonna lose information and you're gonna gain information that's not relevant. People don't even think about that. Other than I know that it's contaminated 100%. Like, look, just think about all the good people that die because they're trying to do something good for the world. You think they're gonna really give you a book full of facts and they're just gonna be okay with that? Hell no. Never. Get that through your head. Never. Use common sense, man. That's all I gotta say. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. TTYL.